Welcome to the DLLS Rangers Weekly Podcast, now part of the All City Network. Hit the subscribe button for YouTube and also become a DLLS diehard at www.alldlls.com. Now here's Jeff and John. Hey everybody, welcome to the DLLS Rangers Weekly Podcast. This is episode number 27, and today Maxton Martin, an outfielder for the Texas Rangers, playing for Hickory Crawdads this year. He's going to be joining us here in a little while. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button down below. This one's brought to you today by the Round Rock Express, the AAA affiliate of the Texas Rangers. Anything fun going on in Round Rock right now?
Well, they're home, so that's always fun. And you know, they always have their promotions and all kinds of stuff that they do every home stand. So get down there and check them out.
They're a hot streak too. We'll get into that in the bus leagues.
Team. Yeah,
we'll get into that in the bus leagues. But they're a hot team. Those guys down there have really looked after you and I for a while now. That's a good crew. Frisco hopefully will be doing some stuff with us too.
Sure.
Then you get out to Frisco. By the way, I was out in Frisco Tuesday night for my daughter's boyfriend's family wanted to go watch the Dallas Cowboy home run derby.
Oh, all right.
Raising money for I forget who they raise it for. I think it's what's Jerry's big kettle thing or whatever he does. Anyway, it's pretty fun to watch. I tell you what, who is it the punter is Sanders, I think his name. I don't know all my Cowboys like I used to know them because I boycotted them, but boy, he was hitting the ball good. And they also had a defensive back, a wide receiver, Tolbert, that plays wide receiver for him. That dude played baseball. He's the only one that hit multiple balls up on the berm out there in left field. Yeah, he was tattooing it. And it was pretty, they had the shorter fence they put out for the home run derby, and every ball that went over that was, like 500 or whatever. And then if you just hit a fair ball, you got 100 and they were all raising money for these charities. Yeah. It's funny to watch some of these big old boys, Micah Parsons, he looked okay swinging the bat. There were a couple big old boys. You could tell they'd never held a bat before. Yeah. So you're pulling for them more. And one of them, I forget who it was. I think it was one of the offensive tackles who just couldn't even get a ball out of the infield. Someone gave him a pointer. The next time he actually hit one over that shorter fence. And it was pretty fun. Anyway, go out to Frisco, guys. They're out of town this week, but they're going to be back. I believe they are coming back next week. But we're here to talk about the big league team. Heartbreaker last night. For any of y'all, this is Friday. It's coming out today. It'll be out a little bit later today. You were up late doing the post game.
Yeah. It's pretty funny. I used to always want to go on the West Coast trip so that I didn't have to stay up late.
Right.
And there are West Coast trips in my future, but I feel Rangers fans' pain. But yeah, we did the show afterwards, and we had a lot to talk about because it happened so quick, and you kind of felt like something bad happened. Because it's the A's. The A's just always do that.
Oh my God.
Rangers are on the road. They're not a good road team right now, but just too many mistakes. And the error, of course, on Leote was a big one, but Wyatt Langford never saw a fly ball that fell and allowed 2 runs to score. But the offense is still sputtering. The pitches that ended up doing the most damage were hanging sliders by DeGrom and Jackson. So a lot of things you could point to, but on to San Francisco. They had to hop on a bus and drive, 80 miles to get to their hotel in San Francisco. And,
so they didn't have to fly anywhere. So they just drove down the road.
Sacramento is pretty close.
Yeah.
Technically you could fly, but it just seems like be a giant pain in the ass.
Absolutely. To unload, to load, to unload, to do all of that you got to load it all on the truck to get it onto the plane, to get it off the plane onto the truck. 80 miles is just
suck it up, boys.
Yeah, grab your phone, watch something on your phone, and we'll be there.
It's a true minor league experience. They played at a minor league ballpark and hopped on the bus and headed to the next place.
Hey, props to the A's too. I don't care what anyone says. That is a good-looking young team put together right there, who we have made fun of. The ownership is a piece of crap, and what they did to those Oakland fans. And I understand some of it because there were some stadium promises that didn't happen and all of that. And I'm a capitalist at heart, so I understand that. But boy, just up and go. But these guys, he spent money finally on some free agents. They're a good young team, and whether they're good or not, they always give the Rangers trouble. They've
Yeah,
always done
it's
that.
just strange.
But I like what I'm seeing. I mean, this is a good little. They've signed a couple of free agents. They're a good young team, and I think there's somebody to be reckoned with here for a couple of years if they can play in a. If they stay in that ballpark, learn how to play that, because boy, the ball was flying.
Well, I think that's kind of, you look at their lineup, and those guys don't just look for singles.
No. No.
Especially at the top and the middle of the order. They're swinging for the fences, and it works out, and they're young, like you said, and they're getting them extended and locked up.
Don't know where they.
I guess with the future money coming in from Las Vegas,
he figures he can go ahead
the
and
family, or John Fisher, feels like he can finally go out and spend a little money. And there's a reason why the Raiders, the A's, and the Warriors have left Oakland.
Yep.
Okay.
No,
it's a two-way street.
The city itself has done nothing.
The city has done nothing. It's the politics, the climate.
But you feel for the fans, because those
feel for the fans, sure. But you know what?
But they elect the city, the people that run the city.
Vote, get to city council meetings, do all those things. But they didn't. So Oakland's a dump.
The stadium's a piece of crap.
The city's not nice either.
Yeah.
So I don't have any real. I'm never gonna miss Oakland.
Yeah.
But it is bad for fans, and it's bad for baseball. You never want to see teams move. You want them to be supported. I guess the Rays are next.
Yeah.
And I like St. Pete a lot better than I like Oakland, but
yeah,
I don't know what's going to happen there.
St. Pete's more of a retirement community, so a lot of those older folks don't want to pay any more extra taxes on it. And then Oakland, just look, I've said this all along, and for those that disagree, I don't care what you say. In a town, it's good for the city to help fund the stadium, because you're going to get money out of that. They don't understand what it draws. Look what Arlington ended up doing. Yeah. When they've always had the Rangers. They lured the Cowboys over. Look at that whole area now.
Right.
You think that there's not hundreds of millions of dollars, if not $1 billion every year, that comes into that area, because they have Six Flags. They got the water park. That's a place for some families. They go to Arlington for vacation.
Well, now, they've got 2 nice hotels.
Beautiful hotels. Texas Live.
They have Texas Live and One Rangers Way if you want to live there. And all these restaurants that are popping up. You're making an investment, and the taxpayers are making an investment, but they're getting the benefits on the back end. With,
right. It does stuff for your
infrastructure improvements, and possibly lowering taxes in the future, helping schools. Look at the Northwest ISD. When Texas Motor Speedway was built, little Northwest ISD went nuts.
Now they have 2 high schools out,
and they're spectacular.
Yeah, and they're good.
They're great looking schools, all because, and this is when NASCAR was huge, all because of Texas Motor Speedway and the tax advantages that little community got.
Absolutely. And listen, billionaires can. Yes, they can buy their own stadiums, build their own stadiums. They can do that. But billionaires also can take their team somewhere where they're going to get. That's why they're billionaires. They're going to get theirs no matter what. They want to get help from the city to help fund their stadiums. They want to do all of that, and they can do that. And it sucks. And everybody that hates rich people, But man, the advantage for the people that live around there in the city. We're getting into a civil thing.
That's the problem with Oakland.
Yeah, exactly.
You didn't want to be out there after dark.
I've been out there after.
It's not a place for.
Kathy and I went there a few years ago. Yeah,
for investment. There's not going to be a Texas Live popping up.
Did you when you would go there? Did you drive over to the stadium?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so we took the train from San Francisco because Kat and I were there, and I don't know if you've ever been on it. There's this bridge thing that walks from the train across, and it looks like prison things. The chain link fence that comes up with the barbed wire at the top that you walk through. And it's a little intimidating walking across that thing at night. But on to San Francisco now, where they're going to play the Giants, who are, by the way, are they leading the West still, or are the Padres?
It's a half a game.
Okay.
Padres by half game over the Giants, who lead the Dodgers by a half game.
Yeah.
So It's tight. That's a heck of a.
It's probably the best division in baseball, might be.
Yeah, because the Diamondbacks are good. The Rockies are god awful, but the Diamondbacks are still good. Anyway,
Yeah.
so
let's tell you where the Rangers are,
Yeah,
guys. We've been talking about they're 14-11 right now. They're 5-5 in their last 10, all because of road trips, which have not been good for them. They're winning a lot at home. They've lost their last 2 games. They're still in first place. They're just tied with Seattle right now.
Yeah. Again, we still think this is a good team.
Mhm. I do.
They got to hit. They have to figure out how to survive a couple weeks without Corey Seager or 10
Yeah.
days, whatever it is. But what you saw, or what you thought you saw on the offensive side, Tuesday night, it kind of fizzled. It didn't last, and you got to. It's still an ongoing thing.
I like Smith at the leadoff.
Yeah, it's not bad, but you talk about, oh well, he's going to give you a good at bat and all this stuff, and he is, but I don't know, he batted 4 times last night and might have seen like 8 pitches. I mean,
he was swinging early.
He was up there swinging.
Yeah.
So
but Simeon does that sometimes too.
Simeon
But
does that
Simeon,
more.
well,
Right.
yeah, but these are guys that have made a living off of ambushing you. If you want to start me off with a strike, I'll ambush you. Corey Seager does that too, but Corey works good counts. If he gets behind, he's always been able to work it back into his favor. But in the leadoff spot, you want somebody that's going to see some pitches, but you also want a guy that can ambush a fastball or hit a good pitch to do that. I don't know. This whole offense, I still think this offense is going to be better. There's just too many good bats. Look at the base. What is it? Look at the baseball card. That's what.
Bag of the baseball.
Basketball. Jock Peterson finally ended that 0-for-41 streak night before last with that double that almost got thrown out at second base.
Yeah, that would have been it was a bad look. But
I tell you what, it would have been perfect for how his season's gone to finally hit a double and then get thrown out, or hit a single and get thrown out at second doing it. But this team, they're going to go into that's going to be tough this weekend. It's going to be a tough weekend.
Sure. And the rotation continues to do its job, other than Rocker, who's now on the injured list, and Baldy pitching tonight. That's
good. Malley goes tomorrow.
Malley on Saturday, and then they got a decision to make now on Sunday. It's either going to be Corbin or Leiter. And but all right, you feel good about you
either
feel
one.
Good about Patrick Corbin, and I know on the Daily Show I was pretty down on the guy when they signed him, and as his first starts were approaching, but he's keeping them in games, and really they should be. They've won 2 of his 3 starts.
Yep. Hey,
should have won the first one even. So
this pitching staff is not the issue.
No, it's not.
Not even when Rocker has a dud like he did the other night. This is a team that could have easily. He gave up 5 runs. That's an attainable goal that early in. If you go down 5-0 in the first 2 innings and you get your pitcher out, and someone comes in and does. Look what Latz did.
Yeah,
who came in. He walked those first 2 guys, which is horrible. And I think he would tell you that. But then him and Bosley came in and did great.
Very good.
Shut them down the rest of the game. And I mean, that keeps you in a game, but you can't get any offense going at a field that apparently you just got to bunt it and it'll go 400 feet.
It seems that that's the case. Now I did think the weather.
It's cold.
It was cold, and kind of things changed as the game went on last night.
Yeah.
I thought there were a couple balls that were hit really well, both ways that might have carried out the first day or the second.
One of them was by Peterson. Well,
that one wasn't that deep, but there was the one off of I think in the 9th that Leote went back and caught, or maybe it was the 8th. But anyway, there were some balls that I thought carried well. Simeon hit one that I thought had a chance, and it didn't even get to the warning track. So anyway, the loss last night, you chalk it up to bad offense and just bad luck. And I know there are a lot of people, at least last night, and in my Twitter mentions, that say it's time to get rid of Leote. And really his playing time's already been cut. The thing is, it's not time to bring up Evan Carter yet.
No.
And he hit a home run last night, and I think he has a hit in 6 of his last 7 games or something like that.
Good. Keep going.
Okay, but he hasn't played back-to-back games since early in this month, and the last time it was a pinch hit appearance. So, they're still trying to figure this thing out. And yeah, he hit the home run. His on base percentage is like 350, which is great, but he's not ready.
No.
And the Rangers are still wrapping their arms around this back issue. So is he. So it doesn't seem like this is going to happen quickly. I think if there's a solution, it's Harris and Pilar
right
taking over center field, and Leote just kind of doing his best when called upon, whether it's
is there any doubt right now that the best player on this team is Wyatt Langford?
No,
good Lord. I mean,
no question.
You look back now and think, golly, three other teams.
Now, I mean, I would still put Corey Seager up there.
Well, it's Seager. That's but I'm saying you drafted this guy fourth, and you're still looking back, and are there 3 teams kicking themselves in the ass right now, going because he was projected as the possible number 1 overall pick.
Yeah,
as high as number 1 overall pick. He ends up sliding to 4, and I think the Rangers just about, fell all over themselves when he fell to them, because I think there really was some situations there where if Langford was the one guy they wanted, there was a couple of high school kids, remember that draft, that were pretty highly ranked,
right? And
they kind of thought, okay, if we get to one of these high school kids, well, maybe we go in and kind of do a Kamar thing again, where we find somebody we can sign them under slot, because there was nobody they were madly in love with but Langford, and they just assumed he wasn't going to be there.
Right.
And then here he comes, and there he is. And I think everybody, including me, I was like, there is not a doubt. I mean, that pick came in so quick. It was like, wow. And then look, and it's proven to be true.
Well, I mean, that draft was very top heavy.
Yep.
Paul
a lot of high school kids.
Paul Skeens was the first pick. All right.
Right.
All right. Hard to argue with that. Dylan Cruz, who's now with the Nationals. All right. Good player. Those first 2 guys were teammates in college. And then it came down to, would it be Langford or Max Clark or Walter Jenkins?
Right. 2 high schoolers.
High school outfielders. The Tigers took Clark, and I think the Rangers probably all fell over when they had the chance to get Wyatt Langford. I mean, it just, if they were anticipating, look, if Langford goes 3rd, what are the Rangers going to do here?
Right. That's what I mean.
I mean, they could have taken Jacob Wilson, I think, was the 6th pick, the A shortstop. All right, well, you're probably not going to take him. So you take the prep outfielder, and what are they? Maybe AA this year.
Yep.
So it just kind of changed the course of the franchise,
draft.
really.
Yep.
But anyway, he's great, and the missing the fly ball aside, he led off with a double that Blade ended up bobbling, but Langford was going to get the second.
Yeah, no matter what. Yeah, because he had gone at that angle. Yeah.
Busting his tail and running hard, and it's something you don't see. You don't see these guys, a lot of guys who play as hard as he does, and then he's been hitting home runs left and right. He's great, and it doesn't matter where you put him in the lineup. He seems very unfazed.
Nope.
And so,
well, he puts.
Yeah, it's great. It's kind of exciting to see, and
he's got reminiscent. He kind of reminds me in a way of Mike Trout when he was first coming up. I mean, the athleticism that he has. I tell you where he puts pressure on people. He hits a ground ball. He makes them. They can't double pump. They can't do stuff. They got to get the ball. He gets down that line fast.
Yeah, he does. And
good Lord, he gets down that line.
Yeah, and a lot of people make the Trout comp age, or physically they're similar. Trout's bigger upper half. Their legs are both.
Yeah, they're both legs of huge.
Stumps, and they both play the outfield.
Both good guys too.
Don't have great arms, aren't great quotes, but are good guys.
Yeah.
So there are a lot of similarities. I just think that don't throw any comps on him. Just let him do his thing, because it's been really good.
This is the best draft pick the Rangers have had in a long time.
Yeah.
I mean, Leiter's great. Kamar, I think, is going to end up being great. As far as value pick, if Evan Carter gets going right again, that's another value pick that turns out good. But they have drafted a guy that I think is a multi-year all-star potential.
Yeah.
And a one that probably gets locked up in the next year or two. They're probably going to try to tie him up with a big deal, which why wouldn't you?
They should.
There's no question that you try to get that done, even if for any kind of hometown discount. He's going to hit a free agency at a good time where he'll be able to cash in big. Hopefully they can take that away. You know, that guy right there is a star. And, you know, on the Evan Carter thing that we were talking about earlier, I still think Evan Carter is going to come up here and be a major contributor. But why in the world? I think right now, I think everybody, this may be great for Evan Carter. Sometimes you need to fail to get things right. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's in society. I've said it all along. Some of the best things that happen to people are failures. He's struggling, had a back issue. He struggled when he full time. This guy is a good player that's just got to get right. I think he got humbled. He's in the minor leagues. And now all of a sudden, when you're starting to see him play every day, you said he's gotten hits in 6 straight games, hadn't played back to back. It's all right. Realize, put your feet where he always used to say this. I think his feet weren't where they are. I think he thought he was going to make the big league team, and he didn't. But now you got to say, okay, my feet are here. This is where I need to do it. Because that is a guy I still think is going to contribute at a big league level. Well,
yeah, I think he will too. It is weird though that they're not talking more about they being the Rangers, about where things are.
Right.
You know, and Evan it's a sensitive subject with Evan. He does not like to talk about his injury and what the issue was, but it sounds very complicated, and it still sounds complicated. There was a time last year where he's like, has the team said anything? Have they said what it is and all this? I was like, well, yeah,
excuse me.
There's the HIPAA law, and so they always, teams will sometimes hide behind that. And I explained to him, I said, Evan, it's your medical information. You're free to do with it what you want. And he wouldn't. He didn't say anything. So, and that's fine. All right. If I had something going on, I don't know that I'd be sitting here talking about it either.
Sure.
But it is weird. The way it's been explained to me is it's an unprecedented situation that a lot of people have never dealt with. And I think the unprecedented part is that he's so talented and so good. They have to get this one right. So calling him up today to replace Leody Taveras would be a knee-jerk thing.
Yep.
And not the best thing for the player or the club. So stay down there. If the Rangers are really have the red ass for Taveras, Dustin Harris is there.
Yep.
He can play against right-handers. You've got old Kevin Pillar who keeps plugging along, and he can play really against both sides, but he's on the team to face left-handers.
Yep.
So that's that. The bullpen, I don't have a problem with anything that happened last night other than the walk. Walking the guy who's batting 167. That kind of was a huge thing in that inning. But when you don't score runs, there's no margin for error.
No.
It's unrealistic to say, oh, don't worry, our bullpen's going to go out and shut these guys down. They're not.
Yeah.
It's
not every night. It's just not going to happen every night. So it's better to have a cushion. A save situation is 3 runs and below heading into the inning, or I believe if the tying runs on deck or something like that.
Yeah, something like
it's something weird. But you would rather be in that situation that if you do walk that guy because you missed that outside slider, just barely missed on the outside, which was good at bat.
Good take.
A good take to get there. You're okay. You regroup, but now you clinch a little bit. You can't let this guy get anywhere. He's a guy that can steal bases, and the Rangers aren't throwing out anybody.
Yeah, they've gotten better, but to your point, you have to.
Yeah, you have to clinch it up.
You have to hold somebody. You can't. You have to account for something else and maybe change your slide step, speed up your delivery.
Exactly. It changes the game. Runner on base changes it for everybody. And, there's a couple of guys that a runner gets on base and you see them go to a different level. Evaldi's one. He can come out. It doesn't phase him. He gets more focused. DeGrom can do that.
Yeah.
DeGrom can all of a sudden that strikeout comes back into play.
Sure.
When he gets somebody top, because he calls it, what did he call it? Pressure. You talked to us in Arizona. He's talking about there's different innings. You got innings that are unstressful, stressful innings, and unstressful innings.
It's a real thing.
It's a real thing. Everything's stressful when you got guys out there on the bases. When there's no one on base, it's different.
Yeah.
And like he said the other day, and it was interesting what he said. He was landing right the other day, and that fastball was up to 98, 99, and he wasn't putting any more pressure on his arm. It's just he's landing right. It's coming out different. It just feels more fluid coming out, and it was up a tick.
Yeah, he's definitely he's probably not happy with
He's working it
with where he's at
because he's a perfectionist.
But man, it's pretty good right now.
God, it is good.
It's really good.
He's never afraid to throw that slider.
You know, and I think a lot of the time he makes hitters guess.
Yeah.
I thought I can't remember who it was. Maybe it was Seth Brown, the second at bat, where he took a fastball down the middle after like 3 straight sliders. Yep. I think he was expecting a slider and was guessing because when DeGrom's on, the fastball and the slider look identical.
They leave at the same spot
about 57 feet.
Yeah,
and then you're screwed. So some guys have to guess and cheat a little bit. And so anyway,
hey, give the ump a little props. There were some of those balls last night were low, but he called it the whole game. He called that pitch.
Yeah, he was a little inconsistent on the outside.
Yeah, but he called that low pitch, and a few of the A's were probably upset. But I'm telling you, he called that same damn pitch the whole game.
Yeah,
and the A's never took the ball. They never. None of their pitchers were throwing the ball to that low spot, which apparently he likes for whatever reason. They kept coming in high. Because he was calling high too. He was calling some that were out of the zone high.
I mean, it's also game plan. How many, you're gonna throw Adolis Garcia up. That's just
he chases. Yeah, he's gonna chase if he sees anything right here.
And Simeon, you want to also throw the slider on the outside, but it's interesting talk. How it's 2 different sets of hitters and 2 different game plans, and does an umpire get settled in, and then do they get in the comfort zone of like, I like, and that's why you say, you heard Mike Bassick in the first inning. You hope it's the same for both teams.
Yeah,
it's like, and it was for the most part, but
look, the umpire was not good. He was calling balls that were out of the strike zone. But when you consistently call the same pitch that's out of the strike zone. Yeah. You can't really complain about that because he's called it all night long. You can be mad and go, you need to make sure that pitch is up more because that's a low pitch. But by the time you're coming up the second, third time, you got to realize, okay, he's calling that damn low pitch.
Yeah.
I've got to swing at it. That's the way I was taught. We were all taught that way. You got to shorten up and expand your strike zone a little bit with 2 strikes or whatever you've got. Anyway, you want to get Maxton on here?
Yeah, real quick though. The umpire was Mike Mulkinski last night, and he's the umpire who famously during spring training he'd been challenged like 3 times, and each time he'd been wrong. And then he finally got one right. And when he announced it, he said, "The call is surprisingly correct." So, but just kind of looking at the ump scorecard, that's what I'm doing here on my phone. Looking at the umpire scorecards on Twitter, 92% accuracy for him last night, which isn't particularly good, but and however they come up with this formula, it favored the A's by 0.32 runs.
Really?
So,
okay.
So there you go. Better start playing about him. But we can go ahead and get Maxton on. I just
that's funny though. I didn't see it. It was one of the times he must have been doing
spring training.
So he must have been that. You know what? That is people I like that can take humor in themselves and go, okay, well, hey, I got this one right. Self-deprecation is always funny to me. So that's good for him. All right, y'all. Maxton Martin is going to join us right after. All right, guys, and joining us right now from Hickory, North Carolina, it's Texas Rangers outfielder Maxton Martin. Max, what's going on, bud?
Nothing much. Just excited to be here.
Hey, wait a minute. Do you go by Maxton or do you go by Max?
I mean, whatever you want to call me. I mean, my parents, my parents use my full name, but whatever you want to call.
If you've ever seen Coming to America, there's a scene where they're in the barber shop and they're talking about Muhammad Ali and Cassius. It was Cassius Clay, and one of them says, "His mama call him Clay. I'm going to call him Clay." If your mom is calling you Maxton, I'm calling you Maxton. So Maxton. Good game last night. 3 for 5, a good win for
good season
for the team. You're over 300 with the batting average. How seems like a good start. You happy?
Yeah, I'm pretty happy about that. Just trying to stay consistent every day. So,
how does a young man like yourself stay consistent?
I mean, I think it's in what I do every day before the games. I think that's a big part of it. just my routines and how I'm taking care of everything. I think that's a big part of what has kept me through the season.
What I mean, it's something everybody says, their routine, and you're playing a lot more than you've ever played. So, is it how much of a grind is it to make yourself do everything the same way every day?
Yeah, it's definitely a challenge. I mean, the biggest thing is just doing the little things like the fundamentals. You know, it's very easy to just want to go in the cage and just hit homers as far as I can, but that's not going to show up in the game. So it's very important to, just keep the fundamentals and keep it simple, and then go in the game and just keep it simple and hit. So
yeah. So what's a typical day look like for you? Looks like you're obviously in your housing in Hickory right now. What time do you get to like the ballpark and start getting to work?
Yeah, so it depends on the day. I mean, for the most part, like yesterday, we had like early work hitting, so we were there at around like 11:30, 11:45.
Okay.
But that's not an everyday thing.
Yeah.
Normally we'll be at the field. Like first thing will be like 1:15 to 1:30. So I'll show up maybe hour and a half before that, and just get everything dialed in, and then we just practice before the game, BP, defense, basic baseball stuff, and then we go for the game, and then that's it.
All right. So a double last night. You've homered already this season. Is it power comes, I guess, with age? Are you starting to see some more power?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like to start the season, I was kind of more just focusing on barrels and just like seeing the pitch location, pitch shapes, all that, and just working on just getting hits, getting I guess just showing up every game. And so I think the power will come, and I think home runs are just accidents. So we'll just see from then on.
Those are pretty good accidents.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah. Okay. And then it looks like you're playing pretty much only in the outfield right now, but you do have some first base background. I guess Pablo Guerrero over there is getting some first base time. Where are you most comfortable in the field?
So yeah, last year I played first and outfield. I split it about 50-50, I think, or something like that. Honestly, like, I don't really care where I play. I'm comfortable wherever they need me. But left field's where I've been playing for this season, and I really like it there. So as of right now, I would say left field, pretty comfortable with that.
Okay.
We have a lot of first basemen on the team, so whatever keeps me in the lineup.
I could have sworn that I saw you playing first during one of those inter squad games that they had during spring training, and I was like, boy, I remember him drafted as an outfielder, but yeah, he played some first. So important thing is be versatile, right?
Mm-hmm.
And do you think you could go to right field into center field if called upon?
Yeah, for sure. I think I could. I mean, I feel like left and right are virtually the same exact thing, same exact position. Center field, same thing. First, wherever I'll play wherever they need me to play. So
yeah, I got you. I mean, now you're still 19 or another couple weeks. Is this how you envisioned it when you signed? I mean, it's a long path to the major leagues unless you're, Wyatt Langford. But he was
out of college.
Right? Is this kind of how you envision things going at this point? The grind, as they call it.
For the most part, yeah, because my brother played professional baseball, so he kind of gave me a ton of information on what it's going to be like, what to do, what not to do. So that was a big help in that, having him just kind of pave the way for me. And yeah, I mean, I feel like that was a big advantage that I had. But I got to learn firsthand on some things and how the body feels and how the mind feels and the failures and all that. So I've learned a lot over the past 2 seasons so far, and the goal is just to keep it going and just keep working, keep getting better. So
I think the cool thing that maybe goes overlooked is that you're with the same group of guys pretty much the whole way. I mean, it starts with the draft, and you're drafted in 2023, but there are a lot of guys from that 23 draft that you've been with your whole professional career. So, like, who are you closest to? Who are your bros that you maybe you live with them? I don't know. Who would you come closest to?
As of right now, I'd probably say Pablo, because last year we played all year together. So, and we both worked first base like every single day. Yeah. So I would say I was pretty close with him. Chandler Pollard, I'm pretty close with because I played with him in 2023. Yeah. And he's around the same age as me. And then, I mean, a lot of the guys I'm close with on the team, I mean, we're all good friends. There's no problems with the team. But yeah, I would say probably those two would be the two closest. Over the past couple seasons that I've played with.
Yeah, well, I mean, you're 19, but Luke Savage is on your team, and we've had him.
Yeah, him too. Yeah.
And he's from our area, and but he went to TCU where I went to college, but he's like 4 or 5 years older than you. I mean, it's a big difference.
It is funny how a lot of the guys are like, I'm good friends with them, and then they're like, "Oh, you're 19, I'm 23 or whatever." It's like, hey, I don't know what to say. Like,
that's all right. Well, age is just a number, right?
Well, he should be a sophomore in college. If you think about it, I've got a son your age. He'll be 20 this summer. He's a sophomore in college. So, that's where you should be right now, but you're a professional athlete now. So the age difference, in college, you're playing with guys right around your age, somewhere from 18 to probably 21, somewhere in there. Now you got some 23, 24-year-olds that you'll be sharing and wait till you get up higher in the levels. There'll be some guys a lot older and maybe a few that are a lot younger.
Tips and
yeah.
Canadian advice and income tax stuff, all these old person things that happen when you get older. Okay, so it seems like the popular thing to say in the organization is just be where my feet are. Don't look too far ahead. Don't get too excited about things. I know it's early in the season. What goals do you lay out for yourself at the start of a year? And what goals maybe did you set out for this year?
So I think a big thing I learned last year was when I set my goals, it was more like statistical goals. And I thought that was like the key was like focusing on average, home runs, all that. But I think this year my goals were just more mental and like physical goals. Like I just want to show up, good attitude, just get better every single day, and just be able to fail and then just like keep going and keep going, because baseball is a game of failure, and it happens a lot more in pro ball than it did in high school for me. So I had to learn that. And then also keeping my body healthy. That's a big goal for me for the season, because it's a long season.
How much weight have you gained, or how have you changed physically since you walked out of high school and into the pro ball?
So I think when I graduated, I was around maybe 205, maybe like 202 around there. And then last year, or in 2024, I was I kind of bulked up and I was around like 210, 212.
Okay.
But I didn't really like how I felt. I felt like my body was like, it was almost too much size. So then I cut back down this year, and I'm around 205 right now.
Okay.
And it feels a lot better than I did last year. So
it's probably a different 205 though. Maybe
Yeah,
it's a
for
little
sure, for
leaner
sure.
or more
Yeah,
muscle
leaner.
or whatever.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
On the goal thing, that's great. And you can control how you practice, you can control your effort level, and once it leaves the bat, you really don't have any control on where it goes and what the outcome is going to be. But if you keep finding barrels, then good things are going to happen. I always ask the goal question, I guess, because I've been covering this team for a long time, and when the Rangers had Josh Hamilton on the team. You were 2 when they got him. He always set the goal of 30 home runs, 100 RBIs, and a 300 average. And he was and just this elite talent who was able to do that stuff. But it always seemed like you could get caught in trying to chase those numbers and then make bad things happen. So I commend you on your approach here this year. Yeah, don't say I'm going to hit 40 homers. Because you may end up with 14. So
Yeah.
All right. So the way our show works is that I ask those baseball kind of questions, and John kind of gets into knowing Maxton Martin. But I will have plenty of interruptions. So you've not heard the last of me yet. But John, it's time for you.
All right. So, Maxton, you're out of you went to Southridge High School, right, in Kennewick, Washington. Is that right?
Yep.
Okay. Did you play any other sports? I mean, you're a baseball player. Anything else you played?
Yeah. So growing up, I played baseball, basketball, and football. Baseball was always the number one. Always my dad played baseball at Texas State and in college, and then my grandpa played with the Angels in the minor leagues and another team. So we've always been a baseball family. Even my sister played softball. My brother plays baseball, so it's always been baseball. But I played baseball, football, basketball all the way till freshman year of high school, and I had to drop basketball because it was just too much overlap in between the seasons. So I had to just focus on baseball and football.
What'd you play in football?
I played quarterback.
Wow. All right.
What kind of offense are we running here?
I mean, it changed over the 4 years, but my last 2 seasons we ran a wing tee offense.
Oh, no kidding!
Yeah,
Nice. We'll toughen you up.
That's it. So let me ask you this: were you recruited at all in football?
I mean, not really. No, I didn't. I wasn't as good at football as I was baseball, but I didn't take it as serious as I did baseball, so I wasn't really recruited.
No, I did look at the map because when you think, oh, he's from Washington, there's so many cities around Seattle that you don't really know about. So I looked at the map, and you are much closer to Pendleton, Oregon, than you are Seattle.
Yep.
It's not even close.
Mm-hmm.
And you were talking about how you don't get as much rain. What is the closest big town to you?
I mean, probably Portland, I would assume. I think Portland's like 3 hours away. Seattle's like 4 hours away from where I'm from.
Yeah.
I would probably say, well, I guess if Pullman counts as a big town.
Well, they got a big college there.
They got a college. I mean, probably Portland would be my guess on that.
Okay.
Well, speaking of Portland, have you ever seen the documentary, The Battered Bastards of Baseball?
I've heard of it, but I don't think I've seen it. No.
It's on Netflix. You got to watch it. It's about the Portland Mavericks, I think they were called. And anyway, it's really good. You'll love it. There used to be a minor league team there that was independent ball. Okay, so you were committed. You were going to go to the University of Oregon out of high school. Do you have any other schools that you were looking at or you thought of, or did you commit early? Or
so they offered me my sophomore summer. It was them. I got offered from Gonzaga and UW, and so I was looking at those 3 schools. I went on a visit to UW. I really liked it there, but I think once I went to once I visited Oregon, I was like, yeah, I think I want to go here. So I chose Oregon out of those 3. I talked to some other schools, but those were my main 3 offers. So, yeah.
Okay. Okay, now you ended up not going. You got drafted in the 11th round of 2023. So I want to talk about that in just a second. But the one thing I always ask about guys that get drafted. Now you see these drafts, the NFL drafts going on right now, but even in the MLB draft, and I was at the draft last year here in the Metroplex, there are guys that show up wherever the draft is because they're obviously going to be first round talent. They're going there. You probably weren't wherever the draft was. You had committed to Oregon. Where were you when you got drafted, and how did you find out you'd been drafted?
Let me think. That was. Oh yeah. So okay, I was actually at my house. So at that time, I was playing for the Walla Walla Sweets, which is a West Coast League summer team. In case I didn't get drafted or didn't sign, I would have just kept playing for them and then went to Oregon. So I was actually at home, and it was actually kind of cool because my brother got the All-Star break off because like the minor leagues don't play. So he came home. He like surprised me at home. It was kind of cool. And then, yeah, so I was at home and we were watching the draft tracker. We had it on the TV, had it on my dad's laptop. And then my agent called me and was like, yeah, the Rangers are going to take you right here for this next pick. Like, be ready. And I was like, okay. And then we all celebrated, and it was cool. It was a cool moment. So, yeah.
Now, yeah, you go ahead.
Yeah. So you didn't sign though till the cutoff day.
Mm-hmm.
How close was it that you almost went to college?
It was pretty close. It was a long situation that happened kind of between the team and my agent and me. And yeah, there was a lot of things going on, and so I didn't really know if it was worth it. But big thing for me is I just wanted to play baseball and work on that every day. And so I ended up just being like, this is what I want to do, and I'm gonna take this signing and not look back. So it was really close for me going to college. But yeah.
Yeah. Who was the area scout who
It was Gary McGraw.
Oh yeah, sure.
Gary McGraw.
He gets all those guys.
The Pacific Northwest guys.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, so
yeah,
you're not looking back. Good deal. Glad to hear it.
Okay, so all right, so let's get into some of your favorite stuff now. So you some of your favorite stuff to do. What is your favorite food now? Everybody, look, you guys are on special diets. You do all of that, but if you're in a hurry and you've got to run through a fast food joint somewhere and do that, what's the place Maxton's going to? He's gonna. What are you gonna go get?
Probably Chipotle. Honestly, I like.
That's the popular answer.
Yeah.
Do you get a burrito or a bowl?
I get a bowl. Yeah.
Okay, what's in the bowl? What do you usually get?
I normally do brown rice, steak, queso, cheese, and like lettuce and corn, and then mix it up, and that's my order. So.
You get a double order too? I mean, you guys chow some calories.
Not normally, but maybe sometimes.
Yeah, the very underrated, and I'm glad you do it, is the scoop of queso.
I do that.
It really makes the burrito bowl.
Yeah.
But then you get the cheese on top of that. I don't do that. That's a lot of dairy.
This guy's got calories, man. He's working it up.
I need the calories and protein.
Absolutely, man. Okay, so now let's talk about your favorite kind of food. What is your favorite kind of food or type of food? Are you an Italian guy? You like steaks? You like pizza? Seafood? What do you like?
Yeah, I mean, in my house, I mean, we eat a lot. So, I don't really have a favorite, but I will say a big thing this off season me and my brother were doing was eating lots of steak and like steak and potatoes and stuff like that. We do that a lot. So I was probably say steak.
What cut? You like a ribeye or you like a T-bone? What is your favorite cut?
Yeah, ribeye. I like ribeye or like New York strips, pretty good.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean any type of steak, honestly. I mean, I'll eat whatever.
Okay, so now this is one of my favorite ones too. Home cooked meal. What is your favorite home cooked meal, and who cooks it? Did grandma get you something? Does mom cook something you love? It's a special day. It's your birthday, something. You get to pick the meal. One of them's going to make it. Who's making what for you for your favorite home cooked meal?
Probably my mom. She cooks all my meals growing up, and let me think. Oh, my mom makes taco casserole, and it's like almost like lasagna, but it's like taco flavored,
Yeah.
and it's pretty good. So she makes that, and I love that. So
And she's got 3 ball players, including your sister, apparently. So y'all probably she probably has to make like 4 loads of it to get
yeah.
everybody fed. You guys can shovel it in, I imagine.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah. So
Is your sister older or younger?
older. I'm the youngest in the family. So
Okay.
Oh, mom's gonna watch this, and my baby's getting interviewed. All right.
yeah.
So let me ask you this: spare time. What do you do in your? Do you hunt? Do you fish? Do you play golf? Do you do video games? What do you like to do in your spare time when you're not playing baseball?
Yeah. So in season, I mean, not much spare time. I mean, there's some time after or before the game, but for the most part, it's just baseball. But in the off season, me and my brother and my dad, we all lift, and that's basically like all we do. We lift, and I mean, I'll play some video games at home, or hang out with my friends, or hang out with my family. But for the most part, like I spend a lot of my time at home lifting, because my dad's a bodybuilder, so
really?
we lift a lot. So that's basically all I'm doing.
That's a bodybuilder. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Wow.
Now those dudes have strict diets.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
That's crazy stuff.
Now, what about mom? Was she an athlete?
She likes to say she was, but she's a nurse. But nah, I mean she played sports in high school, but yeah, she's a nurse. So
Now, where did they meet? Are your parents from up there, or were they?
Yeah. So my mom's from Richland and my dad's from Kennewick. They met, I think, in Tri-Cities. Yeah.
Okay.
So.
All right. So that's pretty interesting though, the baseball stuff. Your dad went to Texas State.
Mm-hmm.
How did he get down there?
Yeah, how did he end up down there in San Marcos?
Yeah. I mean, you'd probably have to ask him how it all went, but he went to LC and played there, and then I think got seen there, and I don't know, had an offer or something, and got down there to Texas State, and yeah, I played there.
I mean, they're pretty good.
Yeah, they're pretty good in baseball right now. Paul Goldschmidt's from there.
Yeah,
Mhm.
That's
yeah,
what
I
Paul.
mean,
There's a few guys.
They'll win one of those. I think they beat Texas earlier this year. Didn't
They did. They did beat Texas, who's the number 1 team.
Those midweek games, and their football team made a bowl this year, so they're
Yeah.
kind of. I mean, it's not a small school. They have 20,000
Right.
kids that go there. Apparently, it's a huge party school.
Yeah. So your dad might have had some fun there.
Yeah, so you're
Yeah. I don't know.
Rush a couple beers. I don't know.
All right. So we always end with a good question that I'm going to in just a second. But I got to ask this: if you grew up there, now did you grow up a Mariners fan?
I mean, yeah, I would say so. I was a big Mike Trout guy growing up. Big
For the Angels, maybe.
fan. But when I was younger, we did go to the games, and that's honestly like some of the only baseball games I went to growing up were the Mariners games, and so like I was a big Ichiro fan growing up, and
Yeah.
So yeah, I would say I was a Seattle fan growing up.
Hey, how many home runs did you hit in high school?
Through the school season or through like summer or
For the school. Yeah.
For the school, my senior year I hit 5. Junior year I only hit 2, and then I didn't have a sophomore year because of
COVID.
coronavirus.
Yeah.
And then freshman year I didn't have that either. It got canceled too. So
Yeah.
it was like 2 and then 5. I got walked a lot my senior year though, because a lot of them didn't want to pitch to me. So, but yeah, I had 5.
I mean, that's what happens with good high school players.
They do. Yeah. They don't see a lot.
And it makes it hard to scout because
Mhm.
they go to watch a guy and they're like, hey, this guy's good. And he may get like
That's why they get
one good pitch to hit the whole game.
Yeah, that's why the summer ball is usually where you get scouted too. When did you kind of know you had a chance to get drafted? Were you junior year, senior year? You had some scouts talking to you?
Yeah, I mean, I think my brother, when he got drafted, it was kind of like, okay, like this is a possibility for me too, and my dad kind of instilled that on me, like that I could do this too. Like if I want to be like him, I got to put the work in and all that. So I'd probably say like I really hit my growth spurt and started to kind of get bigger and stronger and hit the ball harder around my sophomore season. I had a really good summer. That was when I got all my offers and stuff. So after that, it was like, okay, like now I got the D1 offers. Like, let's just keep it going and let's try to see what I can do at the next level. So, yeah.
All right, last question. We're going to get you out of here, Max. And this will be out later today. I followed you on some socials, so I'll try to tag you with it and get them out there to the family for you so they can see it. We asked a lot of these guys, what is something that nobody knows about Maxton Martin? And let me give you some answers that we got from some other people. Your general manager and president of baseball operations, Chris Young, he's a true crime junkie. He said when he gets spare times, he likes to watch true crime documentaries, stuff like that. We've had some guys tell us they, got their finger cut off when they were 5 years old and attached. Things that happen nobody thinks about. What is something that nobody knows about Maxton Martin?
Oh, man. I mean, I'll say maybe something I don't really talk about, but that I'm very interested in is like I really am bought in on like learning about psychology and like how like humans work. I think it's very interesting how kind of like we process things and how we like just how we react to things. I think it's really interesting how like the brain naturally works for us. So that's something I don't really talk about that much, but I'm very interested on that. So
you read some books on it and stuff?
Yeah, I always see stuff on like social media, or I'll watch videos on it, and yeah.
I'll say this: that's the first time we've ever had anybody give a highbrow answer like that.
No kidding. Yeah.
Don't be ashamed of that. Follow that, baby. Go.
Yeah.
Hey, and in pro sports, it's probably an important aspect of pro sports.
Yeah, for sure.
It's the psychology. We had on Hannah Huseman, who's she came on with us a couple years. She did the sports psychologist part of the big league team. She's moved on now. She got married, and her husband's a football coach, and so they moved on. And I think she just had a kid last year or so.
Maybe.
Anyway, Maxton, listen, we know that your schedule's very busy. We really appreciate you coming on. We'll get you on another time. We usually get guys on multiple times, and we'll run into you at spring training next year. We're going to come find you and say hello and do that.
Hopefully before then, though.
Yeah, hopefully before then, especially towards the end of the year, we try to get some guys back on if we can. But we really appreciate it. Jeff, anything else?
No, yeah, good talking to you. Good meeting you. Stick with that routine and keep it up.
Yep. Thank you guys for having me.
You got it. That's Maxton Martin, guys. Right after this, we're going to go down the bus leagues. All right, a big thanks to Maxton Martin for joining us. Now we're going to go down in the bus leagues, which no minor league recap today, guys, because Jeff and I are going to cover it. We start out at AAA Round Rock. We're going to go all the way down to Low A. Those are the only teams playing right now. We'll start out with the Round Rock Express. They're 10-8 right now. They're in first place. They are 5-5. I'm sorry, I'm looking at the wrong one. Round Rock is 14-10. They're 8-2 in their last 10. They are 14-10. They're in second place, and they have won 5 in a row. They're hot.
They're rolling. And then they're winning games a variety of ways. I think they had a walk-off last night. But some of these veteran minor leaguers are doing their thing.
Yeah.
Blaine Krim's our guy, and Justin Foscue is doing very well.
Halver's been doing pretty
Halver's
good.
been doing okay. Yeah.
Lately.
Cody Freeman has been good. Just, kind of what you'd expect from this. John Ornelas had a couple big hits last night. That he's not doing great. Hopefully he's finding his groove. And then, we got to keep an eye on Zeke Duran now. He's started
a home run last night.
He started off pretty well for them now that he's down there getting his at-bats. That's important. And then, of course, we talked about Evan Carter at the start. Again, he's batting 180. Hasn't played back-to-back days. Only played 3 days last week. So,
I think
take your time with that one.
Well, the worst news to come out of Round Rock right now is the Mark Church info. Didn't he get hurt?
Well, I don't know. Did he? Toyota was on the injured list with some shoulder fatigue, but that sounds like just a cautionary thing. And
I think I just saw where Mark Church had an oblique issue.
oh well, that's kind of what got him last year.
Yeah, and something came in, and I just saw it like yesterday or the day before.
Okay, well, I missed that one. I'm not with the club, so
we'll watch that.
That's unfortunate if that's the case. Let's see here. Let's check out the interwebs here and see what we got. Different injuries. Mark Church oblique injury, down 7 to 10 days. Okay. Well, there you go.
Yeah. So 7 to 10. Let's hope it really is only 7 to 10. It could be a thing too where he just came off and went like this, and and they're just like, hey, that's too good an arm. You know what? Your obliques hurts. Sit down. Let's stretch you out a couple days and get used to it. Yeah. Let's go down to Frisco. Frisco's in first place, 13-5, another hot team. They're 7-3. They've won 4 in a row. Look, I said this on the minor league recap. I'm going to say it again. Carlos Cordoza, that guy needs a big league job on his staff somewhere.
Yeah, I know.
That is a good guy.
He goes about it the right way. We've had him on multiple times, and we're not just kissing his butt here, though.
Well, he helps you out when we have to get something.
But I mean, he's just great. He's really all in here. He understands the importance for the players to get in front of the media.
Yep.
But more than that, I mean, he makes them work. They will have days for each homestand where they go through this pretty strenuous basics, fundamental work. And that's how this team wins. They play really solid baseball, and they're pretty good too. But they have some injury news with Winston Santos. Who was their opening day starter. He's going to be down 8 to 10 weeks. He's got a stress reaction in his back. A stress reaction is basically
it's not arm, but that could lead to
a fracture. And I think it's probably similar to what Cody Bradford had last year. He had the back thing, and they're like, oh, it'll just be a couple weeks, and then they found a little stress fracture. So that's too bad because, of course, he was their opening day starter, and he's
a highly touted right now too.
Yeah, so that's too bad. But
is he on the 40-man?
He is on the 40-man.
Well, that's a guy that can move to the 60-day.
He and Teodo. Well, you don't want to move him to the 60-day because then you got to promote him. Starts his clock. You got to promote him, activate him, and then 60-day him. That's why Corniel is not on the 60-day. They don't want to start the clocks, and they don't want to pay him. So,
I'm just talking about if you had to make him
kind of eat that one.
Yeah, well, there's plenty
if you get super desperate, then maybe.
Yeah, but there are plenty of guys that could be a cause for a DFA too if you needed a 40 spot. There's a few that are hanging on, and one that's hanging on somehow and is back in the big leagues actually.
Yeah, Garabito, he can give him some length. Coldwin really deserves a call up. He's been very, very good at round.
Have you seen it? Oh my God, he hasn't been scored on yet.
It's been really good.
He's only walked 5 guys all year.
Daniel Robert are 40-man guys who
deserve it. Yep,
deserve it. I think Cole can probably go get multiple outs better than Robert can, but he's definitely knocking on the door if they need.
He's missing bats. He's striking out guys.
That's good.
Yeah, and he's not walking a lot of guys, which was a problem he was having.
Yeah.
He has figured something out up there, and this is the number one the number one draft pick in what, 17 or
18,
15th overall. And then, and so the money was invested in him, and now you're starting to see what he was. Cause remember, he just flew through the system just amazingly, got to AAA, and that's where the struggle started.
Yeah. And that's why, he was a starter up until that point.
But he's coming out multiple innings every game, at least 2.
Yeah, that's good. That's very good. Anyway, Frisco, we are talking about Frisco.
Oh yeah, sorry. Then we go back.
That's all right.
We're talking bus leagues, guys.
Walcott is holding his own.
Yeah,
his on base percentage is damn near 400.
Yep.
So that's good.
He is not overwhelmed at AA.
No, he is doing just fine. But they're getting contributions from a lot of guys there.
Osuna's really starting to pick up.
Good to see Osuna. Cam Colley's been in the mix. Abby Ortiz has been in the mix. They're still, their batting averages aren't great. Josh Hatcher's been fantastic.
Yeah, he's been the star of that team.
We had him on the show last year. He's repeating there, and he's probably
Cole Drake has been
earned a promotion, you would think, at some point here. But yeah, Cole Drake has been terrific the last 2 times out. our guy Mitch Bratt's solid. Josh Stephen had a real nice outing
Yep.
last night. So these guys are starting to move in the right direction. And of course, my guy Robbie Alstrom, who should be in AAA soon.
He is in AAA.
Well, there you go.
He got promoted yesterday, I believe. In fact, he pitched 1/3 of an inning last night.
I told you it'd be soon. And
yeah, well, he was just blocked. They wanted to get him a place where they could use him.
And you need some, whether it be injury or some guys taking their outs or things. These minor league rosters will be changing here in about a couple weeks because other roster things will happen and there'll be some decisions made on guys, and so that's fantastic. So where he finished last year, where he should open this year, gets him one step closer to Mike Maddox, who loves him. So we're going to keep watching Robbie Alstrom.
Yep. Now let's go down to Hub City. Hub City is 10-8. They're in first place. That's who I was reading a while ago, by the way. 5-5 in their last 10. They lost last night. Couple of guys to talk about there that we really the guy that I've kind of been following who's leading the team in hitting right now and a 751 OPS is Dylan Dreiling. He's the guy from Tennessee they drafted.
Sure.
Second round last year.
Yeah.
He's showing why he was an upper round pick. Looks comfortable at the plate. He has one home run, but he's hitting a few doubles there.
Yeah.
Good player in college.
Well, you can tell, you can kind of look at, the walks to strikeout ratio is pretty good. So he's got an advanced approach. Same thing with Casey Cook, who was a third rounder who went to North Carolina.
Right.
So he's not hitting very well, but he is having, he's not striking out a lot. It doesn't look like he's overmatched. Looks like a bad luck thing. Keith Jones, another college guy, can work an at bat. And Malcolm Moore was doing that until he broke his darn finger. So, pretty good group there. Anthony Gutierrez had the hit yesterday, I believe.
He's won Player of the Night a couple times for me.
He's starting to trend the right way. And
let me tell you the guy
fan of him.
On the pitching side, David Davalillo.
Oh, yeah.
And he was the guy that Fenstermaker, remember how he always does his little, this is the guy to watch who maybe not getting all that guy the other night was spectacular.
Yeah.
The other night. And that is a guy that is living up to the Fenstermaker hype.
There you go.
Remember last year he talked about
Alejandro
Rosario, and out of nowhere, here comes this guy, David Davalillo, same thing.
Yeah. Unfortunate news, though. Paul Bonzani, who we just had on the show, has elbow inflammation, and he's waiting.
No,
he's awaiting the results of that. So that's generally not a good thing. So keep our fingers crossed for him, because he's a good dude, local guy.
Good. Yeah, real good kid,
and was trending the right way.
Absolutely. Why we had him on. Look, we don't pull these names out of hats. When we start looking at some guys that are performing and they get talked about, Maxton Martin gets talked about by some of the brass. They're looking at guys that they see potential big league stuff in.
Sure.
And that's why you had to talk him out of going to Oregon, to go there. So, hey, David Davalillo doing good. Dreiling's doing good. Hub City's doing good.
Yeah.
They're still at home. This is their second week at home in their new stadium.
Yeah.
So I want to get up there and see that new stadium. I never got up to down east. Saw Hickory play in West Virginia a few years back, but I want to go up and Kat and I are talking about making a trip up there and see both of them.
Yeah. Spartanburg is you can fly directly there from DFW. It's on a little plane. You can fly into Charlotte and drive. It's not that bad of a drive.
Yeah.
And then, from Spartanburg, since it's kind of north central South Carolina, it's not that far from Hickory.
No, it's not. They're like 80 miles apart or something.
You could do them both in the same trip.
Yep, exactly. We looked that up. It's not bad. Kat and I like to camp a little bit. We're like, let's go up there.
Boy, I don't like to camp.
I do. So I do. It doesn't bother. It's more about laying around and.
I don't like camp.
You don't like camp. That's all right. Yeah,
I want air conditioning.
Well, I get air conditioning. Don't get me wrong. We have some portables we bring with us, but
I want real air conditioning.
You want a bed is what you want. You don't want to blow up that we do.
I want an internet.
All right, let's go to Hickory, where our buddy Maxton plays. Hickory is 9-9. They're in third place right now. They're 4-6 in their last 10. They did win last night.
Yes.
Maxton's he's leading the team in hitting. That's our guy down there offensively. A couple other guys are there. Vladdy Guerrero's son, Pablo, who Maxton talked about.
Yeah. So yeah, those guys who they're all in the complex league last year,
Right.
Cabrera and guys of that ilk, who young 18, 19-year-old kids, some of them from Latin America, some of them from the draft. A lot of the 2013 draft guys are there. Caden Scarborough, who pitched 4 scoreless innings last night, he's there.
2023 guys.
2023, sorry. Yeah, Camden Perry.
Who's been good.
Who's been pitching really
well,
hot and cold. He did pitch in that.
Well, you see what the fluff's about. I mean, you can see when he has those outings, he's good.
And Luke Savage, who was not drafted that year, but part of that classic guys. So
he's been good.
William Prevet's another guy who went to College of Charleston, right? So that 2023 draft class is pretty interesting because, of course, it's headed by the guy Wyatt Langford, but
right.
Their next pick was Skylar Hales.
Yeah.
And their next pick was Alejandro Rosario, who still hasn't had surgery. Trying to figure that one out too. And then Scarborough.
Maybe it's gonna be the brace thing that they.
I don't know. I heard somebody suggesting that they were he called it prehab, strengthening it before the surgery.
Okay.
Maybe that's a new way of thinking. I don't know what's going on there. A lot of speculation.
He's he's probably not gonna play next year either.
Well, he'll pitch at some point next year, I would think. But I texted Alejandro, who's such a nice guy. We've had him on, and he responded very, very nicely and didn't really say anything. But that's okay.
Yep.
I'm sure he's under orders not to say anything.
Sure.
The best news though on the pitching side, I think, is Brock Porter.
Yes, who's been amazing.
Who continues to work in short stints.
Hasn't been scored on.
Spurts. He's got 10 2/3 innings. He's allowed 2 hits all season.
Yep.
The big thing for him is the walks. 3 walks to 14 strikeouts. So whatever they worked on last year, it sounds like a mechanical thing. There was some velocity dip that they had to figure out.
Right.
He was healthy. He threw all throughout the summer. He appeared in some games in the complex league. So whatever it is, it appears to be trending the right way now. And on the personal side, he got engaged over the offseason. So it sounds like things are trending the right way for a guy who, and it was, it was the rocker Porter 1-2 punch.
Yeah. And it was strange last year because he wasn't injured.
Right.
There was just something funky going on. And he spent a lot of time in Arizona, spent a lot of time in their lab and whatever you do out there to get right. Whatever it was, they will take warning with that. Look where he is this year, what he's doing. That's a guy right there that would, if this keeps up, he might see a promotion up to Hub City.
Well, I think he will get, I think his
eventually
promotion will be to the rotation.
Okay.
He's not a reliever. They still look at him as a starting pitcher. And like I think I said
a little more stretch out
last show, they presented him with the option: we can put you in the rotation.
Oh, that's right.
Or you can just work multiple stints in the bullpen and get stretched out that way. And he chose the latter.
Right.
And it
seems to be working.
Seems to be working. But now I think his next step won't necessarily be level wise, but going from bullpen to back into the rotation where he can get used to that again, and then they'll see how the results.
Yeah, and do 4 innings in an outing because if you ever notice these guys, none of them go beyond 5 innings. Ever.
Right now. They will eventually.
Yeah, no, but right now it's designed that way.
Yeah.
It's designed that way. If they're dealing, they've only pitched 60 innings or 60 pitches and they go out 5 innings and scoreless or maybe no hit or whatever, they're still not going to go any further than that. That's the way they're doing them right now. Yeah. They're not stretching them beyond that. Davalillo, I don't ever say that right, but he was just dealing the other night. No hit, 9 Ks, whatever he's doing in that 5-inning stint. He was dealing, but they're on pitch counts. This is development. I know everybody wants to win and lose, and the Rangers want to win and lose, and so do the minor league teams, but they are not going to do it at the risk of hurting one of these young kids they've got.
100%.
That's all development.
Yeah, and it's about putting players in the best position to succeed. And that's, sometimes it's hard. Player development is not easy.
No.
Sometimes it's hard. Sometimes you take the guy who got a $3.5 million bonus and say, hey, you need to go to Arizona and work on some things.
Yeah, you need to sit out there and just hibernate and get better.
That's what happened with him, and looks like things are definitely trending the right way.
Well, guys, we've gone a little long today. Let's get out of here for this one. Anything else for you?
Hour and 23 minutes.
That's right. That's okay. It'll cut down a little bit. It won't be quite that long, but guys, look, this was a fun one. Thanks to Maxton Martin for coming on. Guys, for Jeff Wilson, Maxton Martin, I'm John Moore. Until next week or until the next recap comes on, we'll see you at the yard.